Commander Zix stood before the Galactic Conquest Council, his crystalline form gleaming under the 7 moons of Proxima Centauri b. The chamber, filled with representatives from 1,000 worlds, fell silent as he activated his presentation matrix. Distinguished members of the council, Zix began, his voice resonating through the crystalline chamber, I present to you Operation Spirit Break, the most elegant solution to the Earth problem we've encountered in our 3 centuries of observation. The council members shifted in their gravity pods, their attention caught by the unusual confidence in Zix's tone. Unlike previous proposals involving direct military confrontation, this one promised something different. Our research division has created something extraordinary, Zix continued, gesturing to his chief scientist, Dr. Villara, whose liquid metal form rippled with excitement. A neurotoxin that specifically targets the human brain's resistance centers, one that can be perfectly disguised in their most cherished beverages, their spirits. The holographic display showed molecular structures spinning in the air, breaking down and reforming within the amber liquid humans called whiskey. Dr. Villara floated forward, her silver surface reflecting the holographic light. The compound, designated XJ7, is completely undetectable to human senses, she explained. It binds perfectly with their alcohol molecules, becoming more potent as the liquid ages. The humans' peculiar habit of aging their finest spirits works in our favor. The longer they wait to consume it, the more effective our control becomes. The council's first speaker, an ancient being of pure energy, pulsed with interest. And you're certain this will work where other attempts have failed. These humans have proven surprisingly resilient. Zix's crystalline surface sparkled with amusement. That's the brilliance of this plan. We're not attacking them with weapons they can fight. We're using their own customs against them. Our agents are already in position, disguised as master distillers, quality control experts, and distributors. The presentation shifted to show their infiltration network. Hundreds of operatives strategically placed in distilleries across Earth, from the highlands of Scotland to the Bourbon trails of Kentucky. Agent Rithur, Zix announced, displaying an image of their lead field operative, now perfectly disguised as a human named Richard Sterling, master distiller at one of Scotland's most prestigious establishments. He's already begun the integration of XJ7 into their most celebrated batches. The council chambers erupted in discussion, their various forms of communication creating a symphony of clicks, pulses, and telepathic waves. This was different from the usual brute force proposals. This was subtle, elegant, and the humans suspect nothing. Asked the second speaker, a being of living shadow. On the contrary, Zix replied, they're enthusiastically paying premium prices for the privilege of being conquered. Our enhanced spirits are being praised for their unique complexity and extraordinary finish. Dr. Villara projected another set of data streams. We've calculated that within 6 Earth months, approximately 60% of their premium spirit supply will be enhanced with XJ7. Given human social customs and celebration patterns, we expect 40% of the adult population to be under our influence within 1 Earth year. The council's approval was palpable. Finally, a plan that didn't rely on overwhelming force against a species that had proven frustratingly capable of surviving direct confrontation. There is one concern, the first speaker pulsed thoughtfully. What of their remarkable ability to adapt? We've seen them overcome every challenge thrown at them. Zix's crystalline form pulsed with confidence. That's why we're targeting their spirits. Humans have a curious relationship with alcohol. They never question its effects on their behavior. They celebrate it. They've built entire cultures around it. They won't resist. They'll embrace it. The council voted. Operation Spirit Break was approved unanimously. As the chamber emptied, Dr. Villara approached Zix privately. Commander, should we perhaps run more extensive tests on human metabolic processes? Their biology has surprised us before. Zix's form sparkled with dismissal. What could possibly go wrong? They're merely primates who learned to ferment grain. Begin full deployment immediately. As their ships moved silently through Earth's atmosphere that night, neither Zix nor the Council could have predicted how spectacularly wrong they were about humanity's relationship with alcohol, or how their perfect poison would lead to the most unexpected diplomatic incident in galactic history. The alien infiltration of Earth's finest distilleries was proceeding with all the grace of a drunken giraffe trying to ice skate. Agent Rithor, now known as Richard Sterling, stood in the heart of Scotland's prestigious Glencairn distillery, staring at a copper still with what he hoped was a knowledgeable expression. "Mr. Sterling," his assistant distiller asked for the third time, "shouldn't we be checking the spirit safe readings?" "Ah yes, the readings." Rithor adjusted his human disguise slightly, desperately trying to remember which of the countless dials and meters he was supposed to be monitoring. "I was just admiring the craftsmanship. Very coppery." Across the Atlantic, Agent Nexus wasn't faring much better. Disguised as Nancy Williams, master blender at Kentucky's Blue Ridge Bourbon, she had spent the morning trying to convince her team that her home planet's traditional greeting of spinning in 3 circles while humming was actually a secret old Bourbon family tradition. "And you say this helps the Bourbon age faster?" asked her increasingly skeptical production manager. "Oh yes, absolutely." Nexus nodded enthusiastically, her human neck almost rotating too far. "The vibrations enhance the molecular structure. Very scientific. Much bourbon. Such whiskey." Meanwhile, in Japan, Agent Zilf was having his own crisis at the Sakura Crown Distillery. Disguised as Takeshi Yamamoto, he had accidentally consumed a small sample of their test batch containing XJ7, forgetting that his species was highly susceptible to Earth alcohol. "The cherry blossoms," he announced to a tour group, swaying slightly. "They dance like tiny pink spacecraft. Did I ever tell you about my home plan? I mean my hometown. Beautiful place. 3 suns. I mean sun. 1 sun. Very normal Earth sun." Back at their hidden command center, disguised as a failing craft cocktail bar in Milwaukee, Dr. Villara was receiving the first week's reports with increasing concern. "Agent Rithor, please clarify this production note," she transmitted. "What exactly do you mean by added extra XJ7 because it made the whiskey taste purple?" "The humans seemed to enjoy it," came his defensive reply. "One of them said it had notes of heather and nonsense. I assumed that was good." The situation wasn't improving. Agent Nexus had somehow become the subject of a viral video after attempting to quality test an entire barrel by herself, leading to an incident involving 2 forklifts, a confused cat, and an impromptu karaoke session of Sweet Home Alabama in perfect Andromedan binary code. Dr. Villara's liquid metal form rippled with stress as she compiled the week's incidents. Agent Zilf had been nominated for Most Innovative Master Distiller after accidentally creating what humans were calling quantum sake, a batch so heavily laced with XJ7 that it supposedly made drinkers temporarily understand string theory. Commander Zix's daily briefing was not going well. "And you're certain the neurotoxin is being properly distributed?" he asked, his crystalline form clouding with concern. "Define properly," Dr. Villara replied carefully. "If you mean, are our agents adding it to the spirits? Then yes. If you mean, are they maintaining precise scientific protocols and not getting distracted by human drinking songs? Then, well." She played a surveillance clip of Agent Rithor leading an entire distillery in something called a conga line, while shouting, "This is how we test for proper alcohol content on my plan, in my family's traditional way." "But the plan is still proceeding," Zix pressed. "The distribution is actually exceeding expectations," Dr. Villara admitted. "Humans seem particularly drawn to our enhanced spirits. They're calling it a renaissance in distilling, something about unprecedented complexity and transcendent drinking experiences." What she didn't mention was the concerning reports about human reactions to XJ7. Instead of becoming more susceptible to control, They were showing signs of something else, something unprecedented. A report from Edinburgh described a poetry night where every participant had consumed XJ7 lace scotch and somehow composed verses in perfect galactic standard, a language they shouldn't even know existed. In Kentucky, a group of bourbon enthusiasts had started solving complex quantum equations on bar napkins after a tasting of their special reserve. Most worrying of all, humans were developing a remarkable tolerance to XJ7. The recommended dose that should have rendered them completely suggestible was instead leading to what they called a pleasant buzz and really profound conversations about the nature of reality. As Dr. Villara prepared to end her report, a final transmission came in from Agent Nexus, humans organizing something called a Worldwide Spirits Festival to celebrate the revolutionary new distilling techniques. Expected attendance, 2 million. Send help. Also, running low on hangover cure. Commander Zix's crystalline form flickered with the first signs of doubt. Perhaps, he said slowly, we should reconsider our understanding of human biochemistry. But it was too late. The festival was announced. The spirits were distributed, and humanity was about to demonstrate exactly why they remained undefeated in the face of countless invasion attempts. The greatest miscalculation in galactic history was about to become apparent, and it would start with a toast. The Galactic Conquest Council's emergency session was interrupted by a holographic transmission that made Commander Zix's crystalline form nearly shatter with disbelief. On the display, thousands of humans at the World Spirits Festival in Edinburgh were not only conscious after consuming massive quantities of XJ7 enhanced spirits, they were thriving. This is unprecedented. Dr. Villara's liquid metal form rippled anxiously as she presented the data. The humans aren't just resistant to XJ7. They're metabolizing it in ways our science can't explain. The festival's main event, ironically named The Future of Spirits, had become ground zero for their greatest tactical failure. Agent Rither's live report wasn't helping matters. Sir, his holographic form flickered nervously, still maintaining his Richard Sterling disguise. They're calling our enhanced whiskey consciousness expanding. A physics professor just drank half a bottle and started explaining dark matter theory in 6 dimensions. She's actually correct. Surveillance footage showed scenes that defied their extensive research on human biology. A group of previously ordinary accountants had consumed their XJ7-laced bourbon and begun discussing advanced mathematical theorems. A retired gardener was explaining the unified field theory to an enthralled audience, using bar napkins and a splash of enhanced scotch as visual aids. The compound isn't suppressing their cognitive functions, Dr. Villara explained, her form shifting with agitation. It's somehow accelerating them. And there's more. She displayed medical scans from their Earth-based operatives. The humans exposed to XJ7 were showing increased neural plasticity, enhanced cognitive function, and most alarmingly, the development of what appeared to be mild telepathic abilities. Last night, a book club in Tokyo drank our modified sake and spent 6 hours discussing literature in ancient Sumerian, a language none of them had ever studied, Agent Zilf reported. They didn't even realize they weren't speaking Japanese until someone's phone recording went viral. The council chamber erupted in chaos. The first speaker's energy form pulsed with unprecedented frequency. How is this possible? The compound was designed to target their neural resistance. Dr. Villara's analysis appeared in the center of the chamber. It seems human alcohol tolerance isn't just physical, it's neurological. Centuries of consuming fermented beverages have given them extraordinary adaptive capabilities. Instead of succumbing to XJ7, they're upgrading themselves. Reports continued flooding in. A small pub in Dublin reported its patrons solving Millennium Prize problems after a few glasses of their special reserve whiskey. A wine tasting in Bordeaux had somehow turned into a symposium on interstellar travel, with surprisingly viable theories being sketched on wine-stained tablecloths. We're receiving transmissions from all major population centers. An analyst announced. Humans are organizing what they're calling enlightenment parties. They're actively seeking out our enhanced spirits for their effects. Commander Zix watched in horror as sales data scrolled past. Their infected spirits weren't just selling, they were becoming the most sought-after beverages on Earth. Prices were soaring, and humans were treating each bottle like a ticket to expanded consciousness. Perhaps, suggested the second speaker's shadow form, we should consider immediate withdrawal before. The transmission was cut short by a new alert. Dr. Villara's form trembled as she displayed the latest data. We're detecting unusual activity in human communication patterns. They're beginning to piece it together. Surveillance footage showed a group of quantum physicists at a bar in Geneva, their table covered with empty bottles of XJ7 enhanced single malt. One of them was drawing molecular structures in spilled whiskey. These compounds, she was saying, squinting at the wet diagram, they're not possible with Earth technology. Unless. Commander Zix's crystalline form dimmed with dread. Shut it down, he ordered. Recall all agents. Cease distribution immediately. But Dr. Villara's next words confirmed their worst fears. Sir, we can't. The humans have already reverse-engineered the compound. They're calling it quantum spirit. And they're improving it. The Council watched in collective shock as humans across the globe raised their glasses in what they feared wasn't just a toast, but a revolution. Humanity hadn't just survived their perfect poison. They'd turned it into the greatest scientific breakthrough in their history. And somewhere in a small bar in Scotland, a group of suddenly very enlightened humans were beginning to ask some very interesting questions about the peculiar behavior of their new distillery managers. The invasion hadn't failed. It had backfired in the most spectacular way possible, and Phase 3 was about to begin, whether the Galactic Conquest Council was ready or not. Fascinating, muttered Professor Isabella Reyes, holding a glass of glowing whiskey up to the light in her Cambridge University laboratory. The molecular structure isn't just complex, it's impossible, at least by any earthly standards. The professor's late-night analysis session had turned into an impromptu gathering of the world's leading scientists, all drawn together by the mysterious properties of what the media had dubbed Enlightenment spirits. Around her, Nobel laureates and quantum physicists sipped carefully measured samples, their enhanced minds racing with unprecedented clarity. The compound catalyzes neural pathways in a way that shouldn't be possible, Dr. James Okonjo added, his holographic models spinning in the air. Another unexpected side effect of their enhanced cognition. Unless it wasn't designed on Earth at all, Isabella finished, setting down her glass with a decisive clink. Across the globe, similar revelations were unfolding. In Tokyo, Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka had assembled a team that tracked distribution patterns of the enhanced spirits. In Moscow, Dr. Svetlana Petrova's quantum computing lab had isolated the alien compound signature. And in a secured facility beneath the Pentagon, General Diana Martinez was watching surveillance footage of suspiciously awkward master distillers. Run that again, she ordered, focusing on Richard Sterling's peculiar movements. Notice how he never blinks. And sometimes his neck stretches. The pieces were falling into place. But humanity's reaction wasn't quite what the Alien Council had anticipated. Instead of panic, there was fascination. Rather than fear, there was an overwhelming sense of vindication. We always knew we weren't alone, Isabella announced to a hastily assembled UN special session, broadcast globally. We just didn't expect first contact to come through single malt scotch. Meanwhile, in their Milwaukee command center, Dr. Villara was watching everything unravel. They're not just aware of us, she reported to a horrified Commander Zix. They're reaching out. Indeed, humanity's first official response to discovering alien infiltration was uniquely human. Bars across the globe began offering alien special cocktails. T-shirts appeared overnight reading, "My planet got invaded, and all I got was this consciousness-expanding whiskey." Someone had even created a dating app specifically for matching humans with potentially disguised aliens, called Stellar Spirits. "Sir," Agent Rithor transmitted urgently from Scotland. They're not attacking. They're celebrating. And they have questions. So many questions. The humans had organized what they called the First Interstellar Spirits Convention in Edinburgh. The invitation, broadcast on all frequencies in multiple languages, including, somehow, perfect galactic standard, was both professional and charmingly direct. To our alien friends, we know what you did. We know why you did it. We're actually pretty impressed with the attempt. How about we discuss a trade deal over a drink? We've made some improvements to your formula we think you'll find interesting. Commander Zix's crystalline form clouded with confusion as he watched humans worldwide raise their glasses in a synchronized toast to the stars. "This isn't how invasions are supposed to work," he muttered. Dr. Villaura's liquid metal form rippled with what might have been amusement. "Sir, I'm receiving reports the humans have already patented 73 variations of XJ7. They're calling it Cosmic Spirits. And they're offering us distribution rights in the Andromeda Galaxy." The surveillance feeds showed images that would have given the Galactic Council collective apoplexy. Humans and poorly disguised aliens sharing drinks at local pubs. Quantum physics discussions breaking out at wine tastings. A group in Sydney had even started a support group called Aliens Anonymous for extraterrestrial agents who'd grown too fond of Earth's drinking culture. "They'd turned our weapon into a bridge," Dr. Villaura observed, watching as another group of humans excitedly explained Earth's concept of happy hour to a bewildered alien operative. The invasion had failed spectacularly, but something far more interesting was emerging from its ashes. As the sun set over Edinburgh, where the convention was set to begin, humanity raised their glasses one more time. They weren't just celebrating their victory. They were welcoming a new era, one where the first interstellar trade agreement would be negotiated not in formal chambers, but in a Scottish pub over a glass of quantum-enhanced whiskey. And somewhere in the galaxy, the Galactic Conquest Council was about to learn a valuable lesson about humanity. Sometimes the best way to reach the stars isn't through conquest, but through a well-crafted spirit and an open mind. The stage was set for the final act, and Earth's pubs were ready for their role as humanity's first intergalactic embassy. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council had never seen anything quite like this. Instead of the usual austere diplomatic settings, the chamber had been transformed into what humans called a pub. Commander Zix, his crystalline form still struggling to process recent events, watched as Earth's representatives set up what they called a proper bar. "You see, Isabella Reyes, now Earth's first interstellar beverage ambassador, explained while setting up an impressive array of bottles. "We figured if we're going to negotiate the galaxy's first spirits trade agreement, we should do it properly." The Earth delegation had arrived not with weapons or demands, but with a selection of what they called quantum-enhanced spirits 2.0, humanity's improved version of the alien compound. Dr. James Okonjo, leading Earth's scientific team, displayed holographic models of their modifications to XJ7. "We kept the consciousness-expanding properties but eliminated the control aspects," he explained to an astounded group of alien scientists. "Then we added something we call inspiration enhancement. We thought you might appreciate the improvement." The council chamber buzzed with unprecedented energy as various alien species cautiously sampled Earth's offerings. The first speaker's energy form pulsed with unexpected pleasure after trying something called an intergalactic Manhattan. "This is not what we expected," Commander Zix admitted, watching as his former invasion force mingled with humans at the makeshift bar. Agent Rithor, still in his Richard Sterling disguise out of habit, was enthusiastically explaining the concept of bar snacks to a group of fascinated council members. "That's humanity for you." Diana Martinez, now serving as Earth's security coordinator for interstellar relations, smiled. "You tried to conquer us with enhanced spirits, so we improved the formula and turned it into an interstellar peace initiative. We're calling it Project Quantum Cheers." The trade agreement being proposed was unprecedented. Earth would share their improved spirits technology, while gaining access to interstellar travel capabilities. Bars across the galaxy would serve as neutral meeting grounds for different species. The humans had even proposed an annual Galactic Spirit Festival. "We've already set up the first interstellar pub in Edinburgh," Isabella announced. "We're calling it the Final Frontier. Every species welcome. Karaoke nights on Thursdays." Dr. Villara, who had switched sides early in the revelation phase, was now heading the Joint Earth-Alien Beverage Research Division. "The possibilities are endless," she explained, her liquid metal form shimmering with excitement. "We're working on drinks that temporarily allow cross-species telepathy. Perfect for diplomatic relations." The Council's vote was unanimous, though perhaps influenced by Earth's excellent cocktail service. Operation Spirit Break was officially converted into the Interstellar Spirits Coalition, dedicated to peaceful exchange of beverages and knowledge across the galaxy. "You know," Commander Zix mused, sipping something called a quantum cosmopolitan, "in all our centuries of conquest, no species has ever responded to an invasion attempt quite like this." "That's because you never invaded anyone with their favorite drink before," Isabella winked. "We humans take our spirits very seriously. Though I have to admit, adding consciousness expansion was a nice touch." As the gathering continued, Earth's delegation introduced the concept of toasting to the galactic community. Thousands of different species, raising glasses of humanity's enhanced spirits, learned to clink their drinks together in celebration. "To the most successful failed invasion in galactic history," Isabella proposed, raising her glass. "To humanity," Dr. Villara added, "who turned our perfect poison into perfect peace." "To the future," Commander Zix concluded, his crystalline form glowing warmly, "where the galaxy's greatest diplomatic tool turns out to be a well-crafted drink." The stars seemed to shine a little brighter that night as humanity officially took its place among the galactic community. Not through war, not through conquest, but through the universal language of shared drinks and good company. And in bars across the galaxy, a new tradition began. Whenever someone ordered Earth's famous quantum spirits, they would raise their glass and say, "To the species that couldn't be conquered, but offered friendship instead." The invasion had failed spectacularly, but something far more valuable had been born from its ashes. As it turned out, the path to interstellar peace wasn't through superior firepower or mind control. It was through a perfectly mixed drink and humanity's inexhaustible capacity to turn any situation to their advantage. Earth's pubs were now the galaxy's most popular diplomatic posts, and the drinks, well, the drinks were quite literally out of this world.